But doesn't it automatically? Okay. Wait, what the fuck? It says August 29th, a.m. What the fuck? Okay, how does this work? This is my first time going live. It says 3:04 a.m. August 29th. Wait a damn it. Wait, I don't know how to work this. Oh, okay, wait, I can see myself now. Oh my god, this is so creepy. Oh my. Okay, I don't care if anybody joins. I'm literally talking to myself, but today we're going to be talking about having an eighth house stellium and how like my life is basically. Um we have like this Scorpio vibe going on. Should I turn the brightness up or just keep it dark because we're talking about dark things tonight? It's 3 a.m. and I'm just talking about Scorpio stuff right now. So, this month I started learning about the houses and stuff, and even though I am a Virgo sun, I am an 8th house stellium. So I have Sun, Mercury, Venus in the 8th house. And yesterday I was looking at Jeffrey Dahmer's chart and I realized that me and Jeffrey Dahmer literally have the same placements. He's an Aries moon, I'm an Aries moon. He has Sun, Venus, and Mercury in the 8th house, just like me. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, this is actually really scary. And then Ted Bundy, he has Jupiter in Scorpio, and I have Jupiter in Scorpio. And my midheaven's in Scorpio too. So I just have all these like Scorpio energy. And I was thinking about how people with these placements, if you don't know what the fuck to do, you're not going to know how to alchemize and navigate your life in a positive way. If you have a lot of Scorpio energy, you're not going to know how to navigate your life in a positive way. I literally just got deja vu right now. I don't know. I just got like deja vu of me being here. I don't know what's going on. You see, 8th house energy, and it's also 3 a.m., so the veil is very thin right now. And I love being up at this time because there's nobody, and it's just silence and like people just shut the fuck up. Like there's nobody around and like it's just silence and peace. And this is also the time psychologically, if you want to get in somebody's brain, if you want to get to in somebody's brain, let me lower the brightness down. If you want to get into somebody's brain, talk to them in these hours because these are the hours that your brain opens up. And if you want somebody to tell you their secrets at this time, try 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. They're literally going to tell you their entire life story. You're going to see how their fucking mind works. Okay? Back to the Scorpio energy though. I'm recently starting the Jeffrey Dahmer series, and it's really sad. Even though, yes, he was a serial killer and all this shit, you see his life is very sad. In the first episode already, he watched his mom have an overdose at 6 years old. And then it's like, he died at 34 years old in 1994. I think an inmate killed him. And then in 2000, his mom died. And then his dad died two years ago. I think his dad wrote a book about him and everything. But low key, his dad was at fault at this because it's like, why the fuck are you letting your kid learn about acid and dissolving bodies and bones in acid? That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous, actually. So it's just like, I don't know, man. The whole Jeffrey Dahmer story is very sad, and like I feel like I relate to Jeffrey Dahmer. Obviously, we have the same placements, not in the way that I'm fucking eating humans, but in the way that like I understand his personality of being an outcast and having an eighth house stellium and having these placements in the wrong hands. This is what can happen. The fact that me and that man have the same placements, I'm showing you what could happen if you don't get that shit under control. You know what I mean? I could have been the next Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean? But instead, in this life, I'm using my darkness to for healing and light and intuition. And if you really see all these murders, they could have done the same with their scorpionic energy. They just didn't know how to channel their darkness and their sexuality. So they gave in to the primal nature of the Scorpio energy. And that's so important. You have to know how to channel these types of energies, or you can literally become that. You can become that. Okay. And it's like, that's so important. And it made sense, when I found out that I had all these Scorpio placements. But yeah, I feel like at the same time, I have been exposed to a lot of things in my life, and my life has always been chaotic, and nothing is really stable in my life. Um, my relationship with my dad, I didn't grow up with my dad. My relationship with my mom is pretty fucking crazy too, and it's okay. Like, it's not like I'm trying to fix my relationship with her. I'm okay with that. And that's just like the eighth house stellium. Just everything in your life is chaotic. Nothing is normal. The relationships you have, the things that happen to you, nothing is normal. And we experience the darker aspects of life at an early age. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, that was the first time that I ever saw sex on the TV, and it wasn't even regular sex. It was like a fucking porn star getting back shots, and just it appeared on the TV. I put in a CD, and it just, you know. So I've just always been exposed to a lot of things at a younger age, trauma. Um, Now growing up with my dad and all this stuff, it's all a part of the eighth house stellium, and people with the eighth house stellium, you go through shit like this. You go through dark shit like this, and your love life, honey, you're not even gonna have a love life if you even have one. You know what I mean? If you even have a fucking love life, that shit is gonna be chaotic. Constant heartbreak, constant rejection, um, people just leaving my life constantly, never wanting to get too close to me, and like the people that get too close to me leave. That's what Jeffrey Dahmer said in the fucking I think it was like the first episode. He's like, why does everybody leave me? And it's like, naturally, when you have all these placements, it's like, I don't use my Scorpio energy for bad. Okay. Even though I'm an eighth house stellium, I don't use that shit for bad. Okay. I alchemize my darkness. I'm not perfect. I have thoughts about dark shit sometimes, but like, I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? I just know how to alchemize my energy and use it for good. Okay. But what was I saying? Um, I literally forgot. But the whole point about this energy is to learn how to alchemize it, and that's just like what I've learned to do. And I empathize with these serial killers, and I know that's like fucking crazy, but it's just like that's just what happens when you don't know how to channel energy, you know? So it's very important to do that. But at the same time, back to what I was saying, like, it just always feels like the people that get closest to me always leave my life. And I just understand now at a soul level that nothing is permanent in my life. Specifically for me, like, even the friends I have, they are not permanent. You know what I mean? I just have, like, the quote of my life is enjoy people while they're there. Because personally, when you have like an eighth house stellium, when you have eighth house placements, love, like, it's not gonna be easy for you. It's not gonna be easy. People are gonna leave your life. You could literally be okay with somebody. You wake up the next day, you're blocked. They never talk to you again. It's that type of shit. And it's a type of heartbreak. It's like, oh my God, like, am I a fucking monster? And that's how I feel. Even though, look, I'm an honest person. Um, and I'm not perfect, but I think I use my energy for good. People still have suspicion towards me. People, like, literally, people think that I'm doing bad shit. People think that I'm doing bad shit. And it's just like, I'm not. And it's like, there's always gonna be, like, a fucking, like, people are always gonna be questioning what the fuck I'm doing. And it's like, I literally could be in my room laying down and somebody's like, she's up to something. You know, and that's just like the natural Scorpio energy, like, that I have. People are gonna naturally think I'm doing something bad. I'm up to something bad. I'm not. But they think that, you know. And it can cause havoc. It can make people with eighth house placements feel like we're a fucking monster. Like, even, like, for example, like, even Jeffrey Dahmer, before he even started killing people, people still saw him as weird. People found him off-putting. People didn't trust him. You know, that's the point. Like, it's like that, you know. And I feel like that. I don't think I'm scary. I don't think I have any ill intent. But it's like, people see me that way. People see me as like a scary person because of all the Scorpio energy I have. Okay, I want to read you a quote from the Night Stalker. Don't ask why I have serial killer quotes on my phone. Okay, it's just, okay, these serial killers, they're very smart. Okay, even though you guys want to call these people like, oh, these people have no intelligence and blah blah blah, like, you have to really see what these people are talking about. These are some quotes from the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez. And he said, on killing, we've all got the power in our hands to kill, but most people are afraid to use it. The ones who aren't are afraid. The ones who aren't afraid control life itself. Okay. So what he meant by that quote is, like, basically everybody's capable of murder. I don't care if it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your sibling. Everybody's capable of that. Okay. I don't trust anybody. Last night, my mom came home with pizza. I'm like, okay. She had it wrapped in tinfoil. I'm not eating this. You already touched it. You tampered with it. I don't care how. I'm paranoid. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't just eat any food. You could fucking poison my food. You could fucking kill me right now. Again, everybody's capable of murder. I don't see it like, oh, you know what? She's so spiritual. She's not capable. No, everybody's capable of it. It's easy. Murder is easy. You just grab a knife, kill somebody, grab a gun, kill somebody. When you walk outside every single day, your life is at risk. Somebody randomly could come up to you and kill you. That's just a part of the eighth house energy. Oh, when I said that, it said one and then it said zero. Sorry, guys. There's zero viewers right now. I'm talking to myself, but when somebody heard that, they just left. don't 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 join this if you don't want to learn about the darkness. Okay, then he had another quote. He said, on evil, we are all evil in some form or another, are we not? Yes, I'm evil, not 100%, but I'm evil. That's about accepting the darkness inside of you. Okay, you guys see all these serial killers with these satanic books and shit. They know about the darkness. They just overrode in the darkness. They know about the darkness, though. They understand that we all have a dark side. Anybody's capable of anything. That's it. And then on government, serial killers do a small scale on what governments do on a large one. They are the product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times. That is true. Like, if you think that your favorite celebrity or your favorite whoever hasn't killed somebody, you're really dumb. Celebrities kill people. Celebrities do evil things. And then look at that. It reminded me, what did Travis Scott do? 2021 Travis Scott concert. He killed people. That was a ritual, guys. That was not no random shit. Travis Scott just had a concert and 100 people were like, nah. And there was more people there. They said, oh, only like 13 people died. Because after that, I seen the video. There was hundreds of clothes there and shoes just left behind. Who do these clothes belong to? Celebrities kill people. Government kills people. Number one, by the food. Fast food has human meat in it. And if you don't believe that, you're really dumb. So he's right. Serial killers do a small scale on what the government actually does, to be honest. So it's like, and then he had another quote: regretting is not my style. I cannot regret. I believe in fate, destiny. I'm just gonna be honest. People who are serial killers, I feel like they are meant to be that. Simply because maybe that's the life path that their soul chose, and maybe they're meant to kill people so when they come back the next lifetime, they don't do that shit again. As dark as it is. And then a last quote, and it said, on killing and society, those things happen here in polite society. You get a death sentence. They happen with the enemy. You get a medal, honor. Killing is killing, whether done for profit, duty, or fun. He's right. He is so right about all these fucking quotes, bro. He's fucking right. You guys would be shocked. Your favorite politician, your favorite celebrity is doing worse than what these serial killers did. It's that you guys don't see it that way though, because we've been brainwashed by society to view it in a different way. Your favorite celebrity, your favorite politician is no different than what that person is doing, than what these serial killers are in jail for. They just get away with it. Okay, they just get away with it. That's just the dark part of the world. Anyways, back to the astrology part of it. Sun in the 8th house, Mercury in the 8th house, and Venus. Having Venus in the 8th house is very dark. Venus is about beauty. And if you have Venus in the 8th house, you're going to find beauty in dark shit. And this is why most of these serial killers have that. I have that. I'm not a serial killer, but I'm not. Okay, but I'm just saying, like, you find beauty in the dark. I find beauty in the dark. You can find pleasure in the dark. Now let's get to the sexual part. People who have these placements are into BDSM. Scorpio, if you have Scorpio or 8th house placements, you could be into BDSM. I'm not gonna say if you only have one Scorpio placement, I'm not gonna say that. But if you have a Scorpio stellium, if you have an 8th house stellium, you're gonna be into BDSM. You're gonna be into BDSM. Okay? It's like you're gonna be into bondage, being tied up. Because this is about pleasure's pain. I'm into that. Openly, I don't care. I am into BDSM. And the reason why, I'm going to tell you the psychology behind. I think the people that are into that stuff, and we have 8th house and Scorpio placement, Scorpio energy in general, I think it is because, again, Scorpios find beauty in the dark. And to be restrained sexually turns us on. I feel, you know what I mean? And it's dark. I'm not gonna lie, I've had fantasies of being kidnapped and shit. Consensually, though. But I don't know, I just feel like people who are enthusiasts in this, it's dark, but at the same time, it's more of like Scorpio energy is gonna find pleasure in that. When you have 8th house Scorpio energy, you're gonna find pleasure in things that are dark, you know? And it's like we're gonna push the limit. Me as an 8th house stellium, I'm always thinking about sex in dark ways. I'm always thinking about sex with people that I shouldn't be thinking about sex with. For example, people that I rarely know. And I find attractive, right? I fantasize that. And yeah, and it's like for me talking about these things, I'm not really like embarrassed because I just feel like after I learned that I have all these eighth house placements, I'm not really embarrassed or ashamed anymore. It's not to like, you know, but it's just like it made sense. Like after I find all of this stuff out. Well, I'm into the same, all these things. Wait. And that's it, you know? So if you think somebody's like really weird and they're like, why are they so fucking dark? They probably have eighth house or Scorpio placements. And I'm not saying just one, I have multiple. Um, my Lilith is in the eighth house. My midheaven's Scorpio, my Jupiter's in Scorpio. Um, let me see. It's just it's kind of crazy, but it makes sense. But you have to learn how to live with all this stuff. Oh yeah, Juno, Vista, Vertex in the eighth house. Eighth house Venus. Oh yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the different placements and how I have all these placements. So yeah, but back to like what I was talking about, like Scorpio energy is meant to shock people and even be intense at times too. Like if you have eighth house placements, you are meant to shock people. You're not meant to be normal. If you, let's say, okay, so like for example, like on my TikTok, I just randomly started posting sex statues and sex sculptures the other day, just randomly. And I could have not listened to that and be like, oh no, this is too prude for social media. But that's just a part of the eighth house, And at the same time, it's like bringing something taboo to light. Because it's like I could be like, oh, I'm not going to post this. This is too much for social media. At the same time, it's like, why not? Sex is a natural part of life. And we act like we don't engage in that or think about those things. But the whole point of Scorpio energy is to bring that shit to light, you know? Um, and the whole point of it is like to leave behind the taboo. That's it. Like there's so much to talk about. I mean, it's a very dark topic. But yeah, me having like an eighth house stellium, I need a lot of silence. I don't like being around people. I spend a lot of my time in isolation because I feel like being around people that don't give you the same energy is extremely draining for me personally. Even being around my family sometimes is like extremely draining for me, and I need a lot of time to recharge my energy, and it's just too much for me sometimes to even socialize with people. And I don't think that's bad. When you have such an overactive mind with all these Scorpio energy that you have, like you need a lot of time to think about life and shit. And I just think about life a lot. I just stare at walls and shit and just think about death and shit. Especially like when I'm home alone sometimes. I'm like sitting on my bed and I'm like, I hear like a noise downstairs and I'm like, oh my god, like what if somebody walks into my room and like shoots me? I constantly sit on my bed and I'm like, who am I? And like, I'm like questioning myself. I'm looking at my hands. Who am I? Ketu and Jupiter connection, something for I said. Oh yeah, I am a Jupiter in Scorpio. Yeah, I'm a Jupiter in Scorpio in the 10th house. But yeah, I'm a Jupiter in Scorpio. Yeah, so it's like I need a lot of time to myself. And I just feel like I feel like the reason why is because Scorpio placements, eighth house placements, we're naturally, like, we think that we're social, but we're not. Like, I think that I'm more social than I am, and I'm not. Like, when I get around people, I get extremely quiet. And then I'm like, why don't people understand me? And Jeffrey Dahmer, like, when I was watching his movie, he had this same thing. It's like he always asks people around his school, like, why don't you guys understand me? Why don't you guys understand me? And it's because he didn't talk to anybody. He was mysterious. Having the sun in the eighth house, too, the sun is where it shines. And having that in the eighth house means that you come off mysterious naturally, even when you don't want to. I have this. And people think that I'm always up to something, and I'm not. So he was like, why doesn't anybody want to learn who I am? And it's like, because we're mysterious by nature, and it's not. I wish I could be more social with people, but I'm just simply not. But it's because I have so much to give as the energy. Like when you have a lot of Scorpio placements, it's like you have so much to give. People can't even like comprehend Scorpio eighth house energy. Like, for example, the other day, something happened. Like, I was telling somebody, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And they thought, are you trying to do something bad to me? And I was like telling them, like, I was excited about something and I was so excited about it. But because I have all these Scorpio energy, my energy came off sinister. And I was like, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to do this. They took it as evil. And like, that is the crazy part. Like, people take my love and like my excitement for evil because of my Scorpio energy. I'm like, I'm so excited for this, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I want to show you what it is. And she's like, are you trying to do something to me? And I'm like, what? And she was like questioning like if I was like trying to scam her or something. And I'm like, no. That's the crazy, but that's why we feel so misunderstood though, because it's like my energy naturally is gonna feel like it's evil. Like even if I could be like, I love you. I love you. And it's like somebody will still be like, nah, you're lying. Nah, there's like an evil intention behind there. That's like the Scorpio energy. So it's like for me, like I had to learn that people aren't really gonna take me like serious like that. Not like serious, but they're always gonna think that I'm evil or I'm doing something bad. And that's fucked up. But that's just a part of the Scorpio nature. And I mean, it is what it is. Like, am I gonna force people to take me as seriously? That's just what it is, you know? And especially like when you have an eighth house stellium, we have pretty strong eyes. People have, mm, it's been hard for people to make eye contact with me, and it's not my fault, okay? I feel like all Scorpio people just, Scorpio placement, Scorpio energy just have these intense eyes. You know what I mean? And it's like eyes with kind of like a darkness behind it, but it's not my fault. You know, it's just is what it is. But at the same time, you just learn how to be dark and be okay with it. But at the same time, again, you can use your energy for bad or for good. Um, and that's it. So you can either, with these placements, like me and Jeffrey Dahmer, share moon, sun, Mercury, Venus. He has sun, Mercury, Venus in the eighth house, and he has an Aries moon, and I have an Aries moon. Tying that with my Aries moon, it's passive aggression that just lives inside of you, plus the Scorpio energy. That's the recipe for disaster. So I just feel like I just learned how to use my darkness for good. You know, I'm not perfect, but I feel like I'm using my darkness for good. And if you don't, you practice Tantra, What do you mean, like sexually? Like, I don't practice Tantra. You mean like sexually? Like, I'm a virgin. So, like, I've never had sex. So, like, if that's what you're talking about, like Tantra, but like, have I done like Kundalini meditation? Are you doing practice Tantra? Okay, can you like elaborate on this, please? Like, can you elaborate? Like, are you talking about like just like the meditation alone, or like are you talking about like engaging in like meditation sexual activity with another person? Like, can you please elaborate? Like, okay, but yeah, can you please elaborate on this comment? Because I'm confused. But yeah, the Scorpio energy is just about accepting your darkness and being okay with it. Meditation and spiritual. I have awakened my Kundalini. I awakened my Kundalini about 3 years ago. And it's when I met somebody that I would consider a twin flame, even though like I don't really believe in those words. And like, it was just like a strong soul bond, and like he awakened my Kundalini. Um, and the experience with that was very transformational. It was every time I was around him, I felt like I was gonna have an orgasm, and I know that's like, I just felt like a energy, and like every time I felt like I was around him, I would feel like, for example, I would sit here and like he would sit like that far away from me. I had this one occurrence, and he awakened my Kundalini. It's like he was sitting not that far away from me, and I just felt this heat. It was like this heat, and that was like the Kundalini heat coming up. And I just felt this heat, and I just felt like I was having a fever. Like, you just feel like this, like, heat. I can't explain it. It's like a heat. It's like a fireball of heat right here. And that's what I felt when I was around him. And I also felt like I was gonna have an orgasm, and I didn't like it. I did not like this at all. I didn't like the soul connection I had with him. I didn't like how I fell in love with him. It was involuntarily. You know what I mean? And that connection ended up in shambles, in trauma, and I have not spoken to that man in a whole year, and I don't know anything about him. Period. And that was it. Okay, so it's like these soul connections, they're not here to stay. Especially when you have eighth house placements, these energies, they're not here to stay. Everything is going to keep transforming. I got my heart broken last year, and that's just what happened. Like, yes, it hurt, but I don't know, like, I'm just used to dark shit in my life. Like, I don't know, like, I kind of expected it though. But yeah, it's just Scorpio energy's chaotic. My life is chaotic, and I've accepted it. You know, it's not anything that I'm like ashamed of. I'm okay with talking about dark stuff, and also showing people how to alchemize energy, because you know what? All these serial killers, they could have been good doctors. Jeffrey Dahmer could have became a psychotherapist. Any other serial killer, they could have become psychotherapists. Then they didn't. And they chose to give into their darkness. People with eighth house placements, we can become psychotherapists, psychologists, spiritual healers. You can use the darkness to help people. It doesn't have to be bad. So I'm using my darkness for good. On the contrary, I share the same placements as Jeffrey Dahmer. I could be him 2.0. you know. But I choose the light, and it's a choice. At the same time, people aren't born with the type of information that we have now, the type of resources we have now. You know, back then they probably didn't even have a suicide hotline. They didn't have places where you could go to actually help you deal with your dark negative thoughts. They didn't have that back then either, so you have to think about the timeline. At the same time, it's not even about timeline because killers and serial killers are always going to exist because that's just the dark part of the world and how the world is, you know. At the same time, we need that contrast. Even though people complain about serial killers, who else is going to step into the darkness? Who else is going to, do crazy shit and have that contrast? We know the bad because people have done bad things. We know the good because people do good things. If all of us did good things in this world, we wouldn't know bad shit. We wouldn't know evil. You know what I mean? And if everything was evil in this world, we wouldn't know good stuff. So I feel like Earth, being incarnated on this Earth, it's about duality. This Earth is about good and bad. It's supposed to be this way. So don't see serial killers as bad. See them as, you know what? They're showing us a different perspective of the darkness. Because that's what they're doing. Even though, yeah, it's bad, they're killing people. But in reality, killing is morality. When you kill somebody, anybody can kill. Somebody can grab a knife right now, grab a gun, and shoot you. Killing is the transition, you know? Is it bad to kill somebody? Yes. In the spiritual sense, killing isn't really making a difference. When somebody dies, you're transitioning, right? Killing in human morality is bad. But in reality, in the spiritual sense, when you kill somebody, it's not really that bad. You're just transitioning them into the other dimension. And that's it. I know that's like a dark perspective to see. When you kill somebody, those people, they're just transitioning them to another reality because when you die, you don't really die. When you die, your soul transitions. That's what's going on. So you don't really die, your vessel dies, this body. This is not going to exist. You know what I mean? In 100 years, you see this? This skin, this bone, this flesh, not going to exist. Gonna disintegrate. So again, just look at your hand. You see how like we see everything first person point of view. That shows you we're not really our bodies. Your heart is beating. We don't control that. Your stomach is moving on its own. You don't control that. Your breathing, your lungs were moving on its own. You don't control that. That just means that we're the observer. I don't know how your video is recommended on my YouTube. I think you have a strong eighth house, and my house is also in the same eighth. Connect 10th house. Yes. You know, it's crazy. Like I just started like live streaming. I don't even know how to do this. I just randomly started doing it. Like I was like, you know what, I'm just talking to myself, but thank you. I'm glad that, at least somebody's listening to me. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Do you have anything else interesting to say? Like, do you want to add on to what I'm saying right now? Um, do you want to add anything on to what I'm saying right now? But yeah, Scorpio people are dark. That's one thing I'm gonna say. A couple months ago, I was friends with. I don't know if he might watch this again because he's a Scorpio. Remember, And he already had confessed to me that, he was stalking me. So, hey, hey Scorpio boy, you know who you are. If you're watching me, you know what I mean, Scorpio energy. If you're watching this, if you're stalking me, yes, I'm talking about you. So I was friends with this Scorpio boy, and he's going to college to be a doctor, and he was talking to me about dissecting bodies and putting bodies in acid and putting animals in acid. And I just feel like that's dangerous. Why is a Scorpio man learning to put animals in acid and disintegrate them? And dissecting animals' bodies. That's the start. That's the start. That's the start. And I'm not saying that he could be, he could be that. But I'm saying I just came across scary guys that they just look like they have the capability to do these things. So, I have came across dark people in the past. But yeah. It's like so many dark things about Scorpio. I don't know. I might make another live stream about this. Um Damn, it's been 40 minutes already. What the fuck? I can't believe it's been 40 minutes already. But yeah, I'm actually watching the Dahmer series right now. And surprising, like I didn't watch it and like when it came out a few years ago. But I'm watching it now and I'm on episode 2. So I'm probably gonna go watch that shit now. Um this is my first time ever doing this. Wait, you can play like random sounds on this shit? Just like random fucking sounds. Anyways, I'm gonna end this. I don't really know how to do this. Um, Bye. Thank you for watching. Wait, what the fuck? 6 viewers. Well, you guys are just gonna have to watch the replay. Bye.